My TBR for Pride Month is pretty stacked. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. With Pride Month just right around the corner, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share some books that you can add to your Pride Month TBR and share the books that are on my TBR for Pride Month. I have so many good ones that I'm very excited about. I cannot wait to get to these. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. I love sharing book recommendations like this one, reading roundup, book reviews, book unboxing videos, and all the fun bookish things, so make sure you're following along. I have so many good books to share with you, ones that I know are a great read and ones that I am really hoping hit for me. First, I'm going to round up some books that I think you should be adding to your TBR for Pride Month. And I have like all different genres here, so it's just a little something of everything. First is Holly Jolly July. This is a Christmas romance that is absolutely appropriate to read during the summer season because this follows an actress and a makeup artist who are on the set of a movie, filming a Christmas movie. It's sort of like a Hallmark type of movie, if you get what I mean. And so they meet on the set because they both found out they were dating the same guy. So you have two bi characters who end up together. It was so cute. I had such a good time with this one, and the audio was really good. Next is That's What Friends Are For. If you are a fan of the Golden Girls, you need to read this book. This book is like sort of inspired-ish by the Golden Girls, but the Golden Girls have a very big theme in this book. This story follows four gay men living in Palm Springs, all under one roof. There are three who are like around the same age and one man who is much older, so it's definitely giving Rose, Dorothy, Sophia, Blanche vibes. It was so much fun. And also, all of these characters have a little play that they do where they reenact Golden Girls episodes. It was so cute. It's definitely like a contemporary fiction type of read where you're learning about all these characters, their friendships, their different like stages of where they are in their sexuality. It was such a fun read. And as a Golden Girls fan, I really enjoyed all the vibes and all the references. It was so fun. Next is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I read this book a long time ago and I still think about it from time to time. It's got historical fiction vibes, a little bit of mystery, some romance. It was such a great story. And essentially you're following a woman named Evelyn who was in Hollywood in like the early like 70s, 80s probably, something like that. And she was married 7 times. And it just goes through her life and how she was working her way through Hollywood, a relationship she had with another woman that was very intriguing. And there's some mystery in here, like I said, that you're not going to see it coming. It was just such a beautiful read. It definitely lives up to the hype. And I had to put another Taylor Jenkins read book on here, Atmosphere. I love this book so much. It's absolutely one of my favorite books ever. Similar to Evelyn Hugo, it has a historical fiction element to it. You're following a woman working her way through NASA in the 80s, and it's a little bit, tumultuous for a woman in the 80s working in like a science program such as that. So you're dealing with all of that with her and you're following her life, not just working in NASA and going through all of that, but also her family life as well. And I just loved this character so much, but she also ends up meeting another woman working in NASA and they end up in a relationship together. And the way that they were trying to navigate the relationship in the 80s was so interesting to me and it felt so real and so grounded. I just absolutely loved this story. And I did listen to the audiobook of this as well, and it was narrated beautifully. Like I highly recommend this book, like all the time. It's one of my favorites, like I said. Next up, I have a novella. This is Sharing Shadow Secrets. It's actually a little bit longer than a novella, but it's part of a novella series of different holiday-themed romance books. And this book, it is the last one in the series, but you can absolutely read it on its own. It's just an interconnected series, so you're not going to be missing out on anything by not having read the first ones and jumping into this one. This one is so fun, and it's definitely like just a fun, spicy read. And you can see there are 3 people on here. This is not just 2 people in a romance, it is 3, and it was so much fun. I had such a great time with this book, and it is very spicy, so if that's the mood you're in for, you gotta pick this one up. The Honey Witch is a book that's sort of like historical fiction meets romantasy. It was a very cute read. You're following a woman who is a witch, and she ends up getting kind of like exiled from where she grew up and her family to stay with her grandmother, and she like starts to learn that she's a bit of a witch, and she meets somebody who she ends up falling for. It was so cute, kind of a little bit like enemies to lovers, or like maybe hate to lovers, because when these two women first meet, they are like not about each other, especially the other woman. She's like wants nothing to do with this main character, but it was such a cute read, very intriguing, a lot more than just like a romance book as well, like so much of her family and all that. It was such a cute read. And last up is Best of Friends. Now, this is a thriller book, so it's a lot different from all the other books on this list, but it was a very intriguing story about three mothers who all have sons who are teenagers, and something happens one night while all these kids are hanging out. One of them is unalived, one of them is in a coma, and then the other one cannot speak. Like he can't talk about what happened. Nobody actually knows what happened the night these three were all together. So you're following all of the moms as they're figuring out what happened to their sons. It was such an intriguing story. And I'm not gonna say like what makes this a queer book to read because it would give some things away. But yeah, even still, Lucinda Berry is a queer author. So I highly recommend picking this one up. Next up, let's go through all the books I have on my Pride TBR. I'm so excited to get to these next month. Continuing the theme of thrillers and Lucinda Berry, I want to read 1 and 4. I was really intrigued by this story when it released, and I never got around to picking it up. So I definitely want to get to it, especially because all of the other books I have on my Pride TBR are all romances, so I've got to throw a thriller in there. Next is Pretty Like Wildflowers. I just learned about this book and I immediately added it to my TBR because it is a cowgirl romance. I love my cowboy romances, so I am very intrigued by this one, and the cover is just so pretty. This one is on KU, so I can't wait to get to it. Next, I have When I Picture You. This book is actually the first Goodreads giveaway that I ever won, so yes, this is an ARC copy. This released like last year. I don't know, it released a while ago to be honest, and I need to be getting to it because it sounds really good. It's sort of like a rock star romance with a photographer, I believe. It sounds intriguing. Next is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is another book that's been on my TBR for a very long time that I have been meaning to get to, and I'm very excited because this is definitely giving like small town romance vibes, which I love. And then I have Last First Kiss. I'm so excited for this one. It sounds really cute, and I did actually meet the author when I went to an event in Atlanta, and I got him to sign my book for me. So cute. And I actually got the audio of this. I was just like accepted to the Libro FM influencer program. So this was one of the picks for the audiobooks. And I'm so excited because I had wanted to read this before I went to that event in Atlanta, but I didn't have the audio because the audio wasn't out yet. It hadn't released. I was trying to do an immersive read with it and I just couldn't. So I was very excited to see that it was available on Libro. So I have it. And I really might get to this sooner than June because I'm very excited to read it, but we will see. Then I have two books that are like very similar. It's Late Bloomer and Anderson and Bloom. These are romances about women at a flower shop. So I'm excited. It sounds cute. I might only get to one. So as I'm like picking which ones to read, I'll probably only pick one of these rather than both of them, just because they do have a little bit of a similar vibe to them, but they both sound really good. So, all right, that is all of the books that I am either recommending you to read for Pride Month or that I will be reading this Pride Month. So stay tuned for my June reading wrap up to see which books I ended up reading and going with. But if you have some recommendations for me, please drop them in the comments because I'm opening to adding more to my TBR if there's something else out there. So let me know. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.